Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday afternoon, and it's time for Cory Comments On. I am your host, Cory McKnight, and I hope that you join me every Friday at 2 and 5 p.m. right here on All Western New York Radio. Welcome, everyone, on this very windy, snowy, and cold Friday, March 16th, 2018. Winter's kind of winding down, but still kicking our ass in a way, and you hate to see it. But we're getting there. It's almost April, kind of, sort of, halfway through March. Anyways, today is National Everything You Do Is Right Day. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one. Everything you do is right today. Not really sure what this is all about other than trying to, boost your ego, I guess, and you're supposed to feel good about yourself and that all your decisions are right. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. But apparently yesterday was Everything You Think Is Wrong Day, or Everything You Know Is Wrong Day, something like that. So you're supposed to have, one day where you hate yourself and you're like, I know nothing, Jon Snow. And then the next day you're supposed to be like, oh, everything I'm doing is right. I'm fucking awesome. I kick ass. So yeah, I don't know. Boost yourself up today. Everything you do is right. And in the spirit of everything that I do being right, because national days, obviously, it's like a law. You have to follow all of them, clearly. Got to be safe and law-abiding, though, on the Everything You Do Is Right Day. They made sure to mention no crimes. It's not the purge for today. But since everything I do is right, I'm going to do a few different quick stories today instead of one longer one, because I can do that. Everything I do is right. Anyways, first thing here, sports. No, I love sports. Of course we got to talk about sports every show. The Bills, Buffalo Bills making moves. You love to see it. GM Brandon Beane has been very busy already. The offseason's pretty young right now, relatively, and he has been very busy. First and foremost, got to mention, quarterback Tyrod Taylor has been traded. I had my doubts about him being the future quarterback for the franchise. He was up and down, sometimes really down, but a lot of times he was up, and I was a fan of Tyrod Taylor, and he's a great guy. So happy trails, Tyrod Taylor. He was traded to the Cleveland Browns. You're going to need some luck building that franchise back up, Tyrod, but thank you for your service here in Buffalo. We still love you. He's a great guy. We picked up quarterback A.J. McCarron, who is not necessarily a top caliber starting quarterback or anything like that, but he's kind of what you would call a bridge quarterback. That's a hot trending term in football right now, where you get a guy who's a vet, but he's not really a top tier starter, wouldn't be considered a top tier starter at all, but he can come in and bridge the gap between what you have now and what you can have in the future. And hopefully in the near future, in this draft, we're going to be taking a quarterback as well. I suspect that will be happening. Brandon Beane has been very active, and he's listening to what the people want in a way. I mean, he's been fucking way better than Doug Whaley. Sorry, Doug Whaley. He was always very consistent in not doing much, and then we were always consistent in being mediocre. Brandon Beane wants to shake things up. I like that. And Sean McDermott as well, head coach. So, in that spirit, we traded Cordy Glenn to move up to the 12th pick in the first round of the draft coming up here. I think we had the 20th or 21st or something like that, and traded that to move up to number 12. Many people suspecting that we are going to take a quarterback with that 12th pick, and I hope that we do, because we fucking need one. Good luck to A.J. McCarron. I don't know if he's going to be, really getting the ball in his hand to see the season out or anything like that. We'll have to see. There's lots of time to go here before the next season starts, but I like A.J. McCarron. I think that was a good pickup as well. So yeah, Bills making moves. You'll love to see it. Next, the Bulls. The Buffalo Bulls. I've never talked about college basketball, I don't think. This might be a first. But of course, it's March Madness. Got to get some college basketball if you're going to talk about sports. I'm not a big fan. I don't really follow the tournament too closely. There's way too many fucking teams to try to keep up with in the college landscape. Way too many conferences, and this goes for football, basketball, anything, hockey almost even really as well. Too many teams, can't keep track of it all, but I know who's good and who's, not so good, and the UB Bulls would definitely not be considered by many to be one of the good teams in the tournament, and they just busted everybody's bracket, and they beat Arizona yesterday, 89-68, a convincing win over Arizona, who a lot of people had either going deep or winning the tournament. That's a big one for the UB Bulls. Congratulations. They will be, I think, playing today. I'm pretty sure they have another game today to be decided when the time is going to be for that. So let's go Bulls. You love to see that. Made it through the first round. made it to the tournament in the first place and then got a win over a great team. That's awesome. Good for them. On a more serious note, we had a big story here in the city of Rochester going on over the past week. A very unfortunate, sad story. A local high school student, a 14-year-old, Trevion Rowe, who had autism as well. He passed away after being dropped off at school on the bus and then never entering the school. He wandered off and walked into the city instead of going into his classroom. And eventually he was spotted near a high bridge over the Genesee River. There was some 911 calls made about suspicious activity, a person that may have been over the railing, something like that. And after being reported missing and a search went on for a few days for his whereabouts, he was found in the Genesee River. His body was recovered and he has passed away. It's a very sad case, but what I wanted to talk about is that in the follow-up to this, there may be charges involved for the faculty at that school who not only didn't supervise the fact that Trevion walked away from school instead of coming into the building, but they also marked him present when attendance was taken. Eventually, there was a automated phone call that was made to his family much later that he was actually absent from school that day, but it was hours after he was marked present and was missing. And it's very sad. So we're going to have to see if there's any charges for some of the teachers and faculty involved that, for whatever reason, marked him present when he was missing and was in danger. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. There was a vigil for him the other night. Very sad case. And we're going to have to see if there's any police involvement in here for criminal charges. But all that is going to be determined. There's a lot of stuff that's got to get worked out with this between the district, the superintendent, the police, all kinds of people. Very sad story. Rest in peace to Trevion Rowe. And sticking with sort of a police-themed kind of story here, last week on the show I was talking about local Grease rapper Randy Ross, who was arrested in what I thought was a ridiculous charge for making a terroristic threat, quote-unquote, by releasing a music video called School Shooter, where he filmed a lot of the video in front of the local high schools where I live. And the subject matter of the song was a little bit questionable, a little bit of violent imagery, I don't know, but I thought it's freedom of expression for him to be able to rap about pretty much anything. We've that rap music can be pretty violent. There's all kinds of violent imagery for years. Gangster rap, I love it too. I like gangster rap, but it's not always going to be, it's not going to come off well sometimes. And this is definitely one of those times especially when you're a local artist and you don't really have any clout yet or any, I think it was a big mistake for him to release that song and music video at the time that he did, right after the school shooting in Parkland, Florida. So he was arrested for making a terroristic threat. He has now been released from jail. An update on this story. He's out of jail, released last week, I'm pretty sure. And he spent a fair amount of time in there, several days, over a week at least, in jail. And he had a lot of time to think about what was going on with this and kind of take a bit of the responsibility, because it was a kind of stupid move, in my opinion, to release the song like that in the video and to shoot it at a school, of course. Pretty stupid move, but he said in an interview after being released from jail that he really, like I said, he had a lot of time to think about it and that he would word his, raps better next time and not have such a, ambiguous meaning behind, does it mean he's going to shoot up a school? Is it a metaphor? Of course it's a metaphor, but people that don't listen to rap music too much, or I don't even know, just the public at large probably doesn't really get that side of it, that it's, it's an art thing, it's expression, it's lyricism, whatever. They don't get it, but the charges were dropped. He's been released from jail, and good for him, because he shouldn't be in jail for making a song. He's an idiot, don't get me wrong, and he made a very foolish mistake, but I hope he's learned from that and that he won't try to get clout, like I said, off of, a tragedy like a school shooting. And you can get it other ways, and by having good music is the best way. And make some good music, Randy Ross. You'll be okay. But he's out of jail. I think that's great. We are no longer attacking the artistic freedom of a local rapper or any rapper. But he may also follow up with legal action against the Greece Police Department, who may have wrongfully arrested him and charged him with a very serious crime, set him at $100,000 bail, or it was insane. So he may have action for recourse against the Greece police, and I would kind of like to see it, because Greece police don't have a good history of being on the straight and narrow. A little bit crooked. There's a lot of stuff going back in the town of Greece with the police that are not so good stories. But anyway, we'll have to see what comes of that. We'll have to see if you want to talk about any of these topics, because you got to tweet me on Twitter at allwnycorey if you want to chime in on the Bills, the Bulls, Trevion Rowe, or Randy Ross, any of the topics that we covered today. But thanks anyway for joining me here on Friday, even if you don't comment on Twitter. I hope that you do. At allwnycorey, hit me up. Anyways, join me next Friday here on All Western New York Radio for Cory Comments On. Thanks for being with me here today for the show. Love you guys. I'll see you next week. Take care.